Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The sport that I didn't know about until the quarantine started, which is now my new favorite sport, has launched into another season down under. The AFL is back, and joining us now is the American hero down there, the 6'10" stud for the Collingwood Magpies, Mason Cox, Coxzilla! Coxzilla! Yes!
Let's go!
How are you, bud?
How are we, boys? We good?
Yeah, we're all good. We can't wait to watch you work. We've heard that you are not cleared to play for this opener against the Richmond Tigers.
What?
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? A lot of guys are bummed in America about this.
Yeah, it's been, I haven't really trained in the past 2-3 weeks, so I had a bit of a knee problem, had to get a few needles in there and stuck a few bit of swelling and whatnot out, but hopefully going to get some game time into me and be able to play soon.
Okay, so your Australian accent has gotten thicker since the last time we talked to you. I would assume that's because you're in quarantine lockdown with only Australians for a while there at the house. What was the workout getting back into training like with the team? Was there protocols? Because over here in America, by the way, we're starting to get into that now. There was only so many people allowed in the building. Was it the same for you guys over there, I'd assume?
Man, we were even allowed into the building, so we all had to be isolated with only the people we actually lived with, and we could only train with one other person. So we were super strict as far as the government goes. They wouldn't allow us to really do anything, but maybe leave the house for a workout, go to the hospital if you needed to. But we're kind of sitting on, I think, like 2 new cases overnight. So we're essentially, and I don't want to sit here and jinx this, but we're essentially done with COVID. We're kind of moving on to the other side of this thing. So it's pretty exciting times. But during the whole kind of pandemic, whenever we went through it, it was very strict. And even today, we still have to get COVID tested twice a week. We've got to get temperature checked pretty much every day we come into the club. We've got to fill out a questionnaire to make sure that we haven't had any symptoms or anything of that nature. So it's been a bit of a process, but to be able to get back to play, we've had to go through this. And June 11th, we're back.
How has training been? Training's been pretty awesome, I'd assume, getting the boys back out there, kind of getting back into the swing of things. And has it been because there's a lot of people on the team. The field is 17 miles big in circumference. So, I mean, there's a lot of humans out there. Have you guys gotten back into full-scale practices? I would assume we're only a day out here. You guys have been ready to go.
Yeah, it was probably about 2-3 weeks ago. We had to go back into full training. So the first week we had to go only in groups of about 7 or 8. And even still today, we have to move around in groups of 7 or 8 around the club to try to keep separated from each other. But twice a week we can go, or once a week now we have games, and then the game on the weekend we can train as a full team. So there's about 44 guys on the list. So you can imagine the organized chaos trying to get them all together to try to play a game. There's only 22 that play every week. So it's organized chaos of the players trying to get them all on the same page, trying to get training together and everything else. But it's been good to get out of somewhat of isolation and be able to be around multiple people again.
In the game, will everybody have to get tested that's going to play, and then they just assume, okay, if you're here, you've been tested and we're good to go? How did those conversations happen between the AFL and the players? I don't know if you guys have a players association or whatever, but how did you guys learn about the entire process and how this whole thing unfolded?
Yeah, it all happened pretty quick, but we get tested about 48 hours before we play a game, and the tests come back, or 24, 48 hours, the tests come back, so they make sure everyone that's playing is cleared. So we do have a PA, and they've been going back and forth with the IFL, trying to figure out the best case scenario for all of us to get back to play as soon as possible. Obviously, we've taken a bit of a financial hit, given the fact that we're not playing as many games, and there's not as much endorsement and stuff that's gone into it. So it's been a kind of a race back to get back to this. So everyone's extremely excited. This town literally just eats up AFL. It's amazing. There's like 8 or 9 teams, I want to say, in Melbourne alone. It bleeds AFL. People are just absolutely striving to get it back. And,
Me too.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta come down here.
Me
gotta
too.
Come down here.
Hey, I am so
want
pumped for it.
something.
Is there going to be fans in the stands, or is there no fans? And what's the rollout process for that?
No fans round 2. We're into round 2 because we've already done 1 round. I think you saw that a while ago. But we're going to be hopefully soon fans. We haven't agreed to anything yet. We haven't had those conversations. But with everything kind of calming down, there's talk that we're going to be able to kind of incrementally get a bit more fans back into the stadiums and hopefully get some people watching it live.
What the hell happened to your knee? What are we doing? You came out of quarantine fat? Is that what happened? The American was fat in quarantine and came in out of what happened?
I ran in and jumped to another guy, and we knocked knees at the same time. And it wasn't pretty. And luckily, it wasn't anything structurally damaged, so we're pretty happy with that. But it was pretty. I wasn't really doing too much for the last 2.5 weeks.
How many games will be played in the season? Has it been shortened, lengthened? What has happened with the season length?
Yeah, so it's about 17 games now. That's before finals. So before playoffs, we've got 17 games that we've committed to. But we only know blocks of 4 games. So we don't know who we play for the next 4 games after these 4. So it's only released in blocks of 4 at the moment. So we've got no idea in 5-6 weeks' time who we're going to play. But we will probably play everyone once.
Mason, the goal is to go undefeated each quarter, okay? Once you start stacking those wins, you go 4-0 in the first 4 weeks. Okay, now you're setting yourself up for a good second quarter. If you can go 3-1, 2-2, now you're in playoff conversation. That's NFL schedule right there, 17 weeks. Look at it quarterly basis. I'm pumped for the Magpies. What the hell is a magpie, by the way?
Actually, it's a great name. I'm glad you asked. A magpie is actually a bird in Australia, right? And it's known for swooping people. So it comes out of the sky, so you sit there and it's like real territorial, right?
So it's an avatar bird?
It is. It's somewhat, yes.
Yeah.
If you watch people here in Melbourne, you'll see people riding their bikes and they'll have zip ties out the top of their helmet because these birds will come down if you come close to their nest and they'll swoop and peck you in the back of the head.
So a magpie is a savage of the sky, much like Cockzilla.
Yeah.
You see that mark there, pal?
I'm telling you, man, you can make it. Oh, I've got you back.
And you don't even have to. You don't have to catch. You don't have to complete the catch, right? You just have to have the catch at one point, and then the whistle blows. Everybody, get the fuck away from me! I'm going to kick the ball again.
Exactly. Yeah. They give you about 6 seconds to kick the ball to the next person, but if you're kicking for goal, you get 30 seconds.
If what?
If you're kicking for goal, you get about 30 seconds.
If I was there every single time, I'd be kicking for goal. Give me.
Exactly.
I need a full. I saw a couple 70-meter bombs by people through the post things. I'm very intrigued. By the way, I have another one of these that was sent to me by the US AFL. I blew it up and I was kicking around in my backyard. They say this thing is made by hand, loved by foot for a good reason. This son of a bitch flies.
They launch. Absolutely launch. I'll tell you, there's actually a competition they do, the longest kick at the grand final of the Super Bowl. They do it over a river so you can kick it the furthest. If we could get you in on that, I reckon you'd actually take it away. I think you'd be able to be the longest.
Hold on, the Scottish Hammer did this. I think the Scottish Hammer, no, not Scottish Hammer. Somebody did this. Somebody did that challenge and then came to the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. Because I've heard of this before, because it's dudes just running full speed and then just bombing the ball. And I'm like, that looks like a great time. And there's so many people around him. I'm like, this is a home run derby for punting. This is the greatest thing of all time. I cannot wait for the league to get back into full swing of things. I am very pumped up about it. Diggs, what's your question?
Yeah, I had a question. You said you got tested twice a week. Does that mean you get your brain swabbed with a Q-tip twice a week?
Yeah, it goes down the throat, swab down there, and then each nostril up there. It goes, I think, a finger length up into your nose.
How's that feel?
How is that?
Yeah, it didn't feel great. It feel like I didn't even think my nostrils went up that far, to be honest with you. I was freaking amazed that you go up there and it makes you cry every time. There's no way to get around it. They give you a tissue. They just say, look, you're going to cry. I'm going to make you cry today.
Hey, what team's going to come out of this quarantine and everything like that? Really, aside from the Magpies, you got the reigning champs here, opening game, June 11th, 5:30 a.m. American Standard Time on Fox Sports 1. The Collingwood Magpies, the Savage of the Sky, is taking on Dustin Martin. And the Richmond Tigers, also a savage on the pitch. What are you guys looking for out of them, and who's a team that is going to be a problem for the Magpies potentially this year? I assume the Richmond Tigers?
Yeah, Richmond's always been up there. They've been probably the best in the league for they've been in the top 2 or 3 for the past about 4 years. So they've gone really well. They've won 2 of the last 3. So they've had quite a bit of success in the last few years. But the top 4 teams probably at the moment, you're looking at probably GWS, West Coast, Collingwood Magpies, and Richmond. So there's actually, West Coast is having to go into a hub at the moment. So the people from WA have had to go over to
Nobody knows what that means, You're using all these.
Other side of the country.
Mason, you're using all these. I don't know what the hell any of those things you just said. I don't know anything. I would like to. Okay, these are things I would like to know about. But you just start getting into LOL, OBV, OMG, WAI, CMAs, MTV. I don't know who any of these people are. You're talking to me. I'm an idiot. You got to remember that, Mason. So you're saying the top 4 teams right now: Collingwood, Richmond.
Yep.
Who's the other squad?
West Coast.
West Coast.
And then Greater Western Sydney, but we call them GWS for short.
There's a team just called West Coast?
Yep, West Coast. That's West Coast Eagles is their Eagles are their kind of,
You're going to have some competition, I think, for being the favorite team. Hey, everybody in here just threw up their W. I mean, the West Coast team feels like they could be gaining momentum in this office. I just want to let you know, especially if you're going to be out.
Eagles.
If you're going to be out a couple, the Eagles too. I mean, that's America. The ball.
They're yellow and blue.
Your guys' jerseys are great colors. The black and white.
Yeah.
It is a great jersey. How's your?
It is prison bars essentially. It is it's what Collingwood fans are. You're either black or white. If you don't support Collingwood, you hate Collingwood, and that's what it's known for.
Yeah, you guys are hated. I said that
we are hated.
I supported you guys publicly. I said Magpie's taking the whole fucking thing this year or something like that. And I got people that started coming after me like, you don't do that, mate. Don't do that, mate. Like, that team is the worst. You guys are really hated. That must mean you're good, by the way. But also, is that because you guys come from a massive city? Your president, I think, hosts Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in Australia. I feel like your team is potentially the team that people would hate. And it's the case. It is true.
We're a bit boastful too. We're a bit American in that sense. We're pretty proud of Collingwood. We're pretty proud to be supporting that club. So, our president he is the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He's probably one of the most recognizable people in the country. He's the absolute legend, Eddie McGuire. He actually wants to get you on the show, to be honest. Not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but there is a possibility if we do go down that line, I can maybe work a few angles. But
I'll tell you, if I get Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in Australia, I believe that guy has a serious show now, though. I think, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's talking about getting on that. So he's starting up a bit of a serious show over there. Trying to do that for the AFL to bring exposure to the States also, man. So there's a lot going on, but he's one of the most well-known people. Collingwood fans are, like I said, a bit boastful. They're in your face. They love to let you know whenever you lose. They've got a bit of a Collingwood chant at the end of a game. I don't know if you've ever been to a Kansas Jayhawk game where they call Rock Chalk Jayhawk at the end of the game, and it's this eerie kind of like, you get chills because it's just this intimidation thing if we just absolutely spanked you boys. And Collingwood's got the same thing at the end where they just chant Collingwood in this eerie like Collingwood after like at the end of the game. So once you start hearing that as the opposition, you've kind of gone, shit, we've probably lost this.
Some sort of contest. We're in control most of the day. It felt like that, but they just wouldn't go away.
Yeah, that's like a gladiator feel, I bet. Like the entire place is like, hey, just not your day. Get the fuck out of here. We had a warm up the bus chant. We did at Plum High School. Warm up the bus is a big deal. Yeah, the Florida State Seminole. Collingwood. Big fucking bird. That's awesome.
Hey, do you think Tommy Lynch is going to score 3 or more goals, or do you think the first half or the second half is going to have more points in it?
Has he had good training? You guys feeling hot early? How are the boots? The footy's feeling good? Are we gonna split some posts over here in the first half? You think, or
We're just
what?
asking because we're
Fans.
just fans.
Fans.
Yeah, betting. So Richmond is Tom Lynch plays for Richmond, so I'm obviously not going to pull for him to keep too many goals.
Under.
I'll have to look at
It doesn't say what team it goes on.
Sorry.
That's all right. He's one of the best. He's one of the best forwards in the league.
He had the best odds. That's right.
I'm not going to say anything about them because this might get me in trouble.
Smart.
But there is what we call fantasy football here too, though. So I know fantasy football in the States, NFL, massive deal. They've got fantasy football for AFL too. So there's guys that, however many disposals, which is like how many touches of the football you get, is a certain amount of points, et cetera, et cetera. So there's people on our team we have a guy named Steel Sidebottom. That's his legit name.
Say that. Bring that back.
Write that down.
Steel Sidebottom?
Yeah, Steel
Side
Yeah.
bottom.
Here we go,
Steel.
Here we go. Here we go, Steel. Here we go.
Mr. Sidebottom, that was a hell of a fucking rocket you just
I'll tell
hit.
you what, Steel side bottom is plus 5,000 to score 3 or more goals.
Hammer it.
He's good, huh? Steel Sidebottoms. So disposal is how they do fantasy football, is because you can't do rush yards or pass yards in this whole thing. So disposal is how many times you get the rock. I would assume how many marks you get is also some points. And then if you score goals, that's also a point. Is that fantasy AFL over there?
Yeah, so it's all different scales and different points and everything else. So people get straight into a match. Just like the back at home, people will bet on all that stuff to see how many people get, so many disposals, whatever it is. There's also first goal. So first goal is a big bet over here. So if you kick the first goal in the game, they always have like a list of people for first goal. So I'm going to go first goal will be Brady Meyercheck. Write that down.
Brady
Yep.
Hey, listen, if we're getting information about a sport we know nothing about that we're definitely going to gamble on, might as well write it down. Brady Meyercheck. Okay. For you, are you a relatively very draftable fantasy football player over there? Because whenever I talk about you, I say, hey, we got an American who's not just like in the league. Like he's not just like, he's a player. Like this guy is an actual player. Are you at the point to be confident enough to say like, yeah, I'm a pretty good player over here? Like, is that something that you're comfortable enough with your game at this point to say?
Yeah, so they kind of measure how good you are at AFL by how many games you played. So like the chances of you going through a whole season uninjured is very unlikely, to be honest, because it is such a brutal sport.
A lot
People
of
kind of come in and
collisions.
out of the squad just based on injury here and there. So it's not really like you get injured, you go out, you come back in, you go out. Like it's not really. There's 44 guys on the list, and that's the 44 that tries to make it, to the end. So it's I've played 50 odd games, almost 60 games, which is a pretty successful AFL career. There's guys that play 300. There's guys that played 400 once, and this was a few years ago. But yeah, for the average, I mean, most guys probably would need to play 10 to 20 games. So to be able to, I think the average career is about 3 years, and I'm sitting on my 6th year. So I've had relatively successful for a guy who's never heard this before. It's not bad.
Yeah, so you're a good player.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and just pump myself up.
Say you're a good player.
I can't do that.
Coxzilla,
You have to be humble in Australia. If you're not humble in Australia, they will absolutely tear you down. It's called tall poppy syndrome here. And if you ever boast about yourself, they'll cut you right down.
Yeah, fair dinkum, bro.
Fair dinkum.
Fair
Hey,
dinkum,
good
bro.
on you, mate. Good on you.
So is there a goal for you? You've played 60 games. Is there a goal? Like, hey, I'd like to get to 100, or is it just I want to get through the next 4 games and then we'll figure it out from there?
Man, if I could get to 100, 150 now, I'd be absolutely floored. It'd be amazing. So, yeah, I think there's about 23 games in a season, I want to say. You play finals, you might make 26 in a year. So, if I could play 100, 150, it'd be another 4 years of playing every single game. So, with injuries and everything else, maybe 5 years, I'd be pretty damn happy with that. But hopefully more than that, man. It's there's no telling, man. The sky's the limit with this whole thing. So
You love the sport.
Oh, dude, it's sick. I mean, look, you've fallen in love with it.
Yeah.
You've got a footy with your damn name in your hand, dude. Like,
That's damn right. That's me, by the way.
It's a good footy.
That's me.
how good. It's like a little known secret that no one knows about. And it rolls around the same time as NFL's like off season. So this is kind of like a sport for like the people that are striving for contact sport and seeing people just get laid out, This is something that, like, obviously the time zone's a bit different and whatnot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like the perfect interim sport for NFL fans.
I agree completely. You get put yourselves in predicaments to get absolutely slaughtered too. It's like you're jumping off of people's backs and you're up in the air while people are hitting you. The hits are, you got jacked up. like hits back in the day. That is with no pads either. These maniacs have no pads. They're flying through the sky and they are trying to kill each other while catching a ball that was made to be kicked. I mean, it is just it is such a good sport. Can't wait to get started. Can't wait to see you back on the field. And I can't thank you enough for joining us, man. I'm hoping that the whole world notices the AFL because, man, the sport deserves it. It's been around a long time. It's a damn good one.
It is a great one, man. I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully we'll chat soon, buddy, and stay safe over there.
Maybe you should learn who Thomas William Sharon is there. You know what I mean?
All right, man. 6 years into it, still learning the basics sometimes.
Is it your kicking leg that you got hurt your knee on or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Got to get your Toradol down there. You guys have Toradol down there?
Toradol?
Toradol.
What's that?
Toradol is like a super anti-inflammatory that we used in the NFL. I'll tell you what, I think if they gave you some Toradol, you'd be good. Thursday, Friday, though, you would not be able to walk on Friday, though. Get that thing healthy. Got a long career ahead of you, long season for the Magpies, and I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
Collingwood. Mason Cobbs. Yeah!